Hi, and welcome to WQLN Homeroom. I'm so excited that you decided to come today and you are ready to learn something new. I know that I am so excited about what we are doing today because today we are going to be doing some science. We're going to be doing a science experiment later today, and it is a super duper fun one. So I hope that you're going to stick around until the very end when we do our science experiment so that you can do the science experiment at home too. I know all this week we have been talking about the word opposites and that opposites attract. Now, opposites are words that go together but mean two different things, like the words big and small, or the words tall and short, or maybe even the words fat and skinny. Those are all words that are opposite. So words, groups, pairs of words that go together but mean two different things. And I'm sure that with all the practice you've had this week, that you are now experts with words that are the opposite. So today, I said we are going to be doing a science experiment, but we are going to be using two words as our main focus for today. So our main focus is going to be on the words hot. And do you know what the opposite word for hot is? Yeah, it's cold. So we're going to be talking about hot and cold. Now, hot and cold are two words that can be used to describe or explain a whole bunch of different things. There are things like different foods that are really hot, like soup, or there are foods that are really cold, like ice cream, which is one of my favorite foods. So hot and cold are the words we're talking about, so we can use them to describe foods. We could also use the words hot and cold to describe the way that we are feeling. So maybe if you have on a big, huge jacket in the middle of the summertime when it's really sunny outside, you are going to be hot. But in the winter, when it's really cold and snowy, if you have on a swimsuit, you might be cold. So the words hot and cold are the words that we are talking about today, and we are going to focus on the weather. Now, I'm sure that you guys all know all about the weather. There are so many different types of weather. So we are going to be talking about the weather and all the different types. We're going to sing a weather song. And we're going to take a look with our eyes outside and see what the weather is like. We're going to read a weather story, and then we're going to do our science experiment where we are going to make our own weather experiment and have some stuff change magically with our science. So I hope that you are super duper excited for all the things we're going to do today. We're going to start today by talking about the different types of weather. So think in your brain of all the different types of weather that you may know. Can you think of a few? We're going to talk about some today. So if you're not quite sure of some types of weather, we're going to talk about them right now. So there are so many different types of weather, and I said that we were going to talk about a bunch of different ones today. So there are a whole bunch, I have a whole bunch of pictures here to show some of the different types of weather that we might see outside. Some of this weather we have when it's cold outside, and some of this weather we have when it's hot outside. So the first type of weather that we have here is windy. Now today, where I live, it was super windy. The trees were blowing in the sky and it was really windy. So right now, it is the fall, or the fancy word for fall, which is autumn. And during autumn or fall time, when the leaves are changing color and they're falling to the ground, it can be super duper windy outside. Was it windy at your house today? The next type of weather that we're gonna talk about, and this type of weather is one of my least favorites. I hate this kind of weather. I really don't like it, but it is rainy weather. Have you seen rainy weather lately? It's been pretty rainy at my house, and I don't like the rain because when it rains, sometimes it's hot, but sometimes it's cold. And when it's cold and rainy, that makes me feel sad and angry and grouchy inside. When we look at the different types of weather, depending on the weather that it is outside, sometimes it can make you feel a different type of way. So rainy weather makes me feel tired and grouchy and sad, but when it is sunny outside, I feel happy and excited. I get to go outside and do fun things with my family. So sunny is another type of weather. How does sunny weather make you feel? Yeah, sometimes sunny weather, lots of people love sunny weather, but there are other people that do not like sunny weather. So we have sunny weather. We also have cloudy weather, and cloudy weather kind of makes you feel a little gloomy. It's dark. Sometimes you can't go outside because if it's cloudy, there usually means that there's going to be rain. So cloudy is another type of weather that we might see. The next type of weather that we might see is, and this one is coming. Now, where we live, we get a lot of this weather, and that is snowy. We get a lot of snow, and sometimes the snow, now I really like when it's sunny and warm, but sometimes the snow can be fun too because I get to build a snowman, I get to go sled riding, I get to sit inside and watch the snow fall and drink my hot cocoa. So I like the snowy weather too. Sunny is my favorite, but I like the snowy weather too. So there are so many different types of weather we can have outside. We can have the windy, we can have the rainy weather, or the sunny weather, which is my favorite, or we can have the cloudy weather, and the one that we have that's coming very, very quickly is also the snowy weather. So there are so many different types of weather. So we are going to read a fun story today. Now this story is a super fun one because it's all about the weather, but it has some pictures that get to fold open. So it has some mystery things in it that we are going to have to guess about the weather. So I hope you are ready to listen to our weather story. I'm gonna get it and I'll meet you right back here for story time. Okay, so I got my story and I said that the book we are reading today is all about the weather because we are focusing on the word opposite, which means two words that go together but mean different things. And I said that the two opposite words that we are talking about today are hot and cold. So we're gonna talk about the weather and the different temperature, which is what it means when it's hot and cold is the word temperature. Can you say the word temperature? Let me hear ya. Temperature, you got it. So temperature is how it feels outside. Is it hot outside or is it cold outside? So we're gonna read this story today. It's called What's the Weather? And it has some fun flaps and some wheels that turn that we're gonna take a look at as we read this story. So what's the weather? Now, this story, we have the cover of the book, and then on the inside, it has something called a table of contents. Now, a table of contents is the part of the book that tells you everything that's going to be in the story. So it's like a sneak peek of what surprises you have in store when you're reading a story. So this one says there's some stuff about cloudy and snowy and snowflakes, oh, and the wind and storm and thunder and lightning and the sun, all different types of weather. So I hope that you are ready to read our story. So here we go. This one is called What's the Weather? What's the weather like today? There are clouds in the sky. Gray clouds mean that it's going to, what do you think? Rain. It means that it's going to rain. Let's take a look behind this window and see what's the weather like. It's cloudy, it says. Where does the rain come from? Rain falls from the clouds. The clouds are made of tiny water droplets. So the clouds up in the sky, take a look up at the clouds right now. Are there any clouds in the sky where you are? Look out your window if you have to. If there are clouds up there, they are made of tiny rain droplets, which means there might be rain to come. What's the weather like today? Look at that window. What do you think that weather is going to be like? It's snowy. Millions of tiny snowflakes fall from the sky and they settle on the ground. Snow is white, cold, and crunchy. What are snowflakes? So when it snows, there's snowflakes. Snowflakes are made of ice. They're very cold clouds. Every snowflake is a different shape and size. So no two snowflakes are the same. Snowflakes are just like you and me. I am different than you are, and every snowflake is different too. So you are your very own snowflake yourself. You are special in your own way. What's the weather like today? Look in that window. What do you think the weather looks like in that window? If you said windy, you are right. The wind blows the leaves off the trees and it helps the laundry to dry. It makes the kites fly high. Where does the wind come from? The sun warms the air and the warm air rises up. The cool air sinks and the air moves around, and that is the wind. So the wind is the hot air as it moves around. Now we have leaves on this one that are moving because it's windy. What is the weather like today? It is stormy or rainy. Storms bring lots of rain, snow, or hail. Hail is like big hard ice balls that fall from the sky. The wind blows really hard. Some storms bring thunder and lightning. Have you ever seen thunder and lightning before? Lightning is those bright lights you see in the sky when it's raining. And the thunder is the big crashes, the big booms you hear when it's raining outside. What are thunder and lightning? Lightning is the bright flashes of electricity in the clouds. Like I said, it's the bright lights in the sky. They are hot and make the air expand or get bigger. When the air cools and shrinks or gets small, it makes rumbling sounds in the clouds, and that is the thunder. These animals are finding shelter from the thunder and lightning. They're getting away from the thunder and lightning. Okay, what is the weather like today? In this photo, it is sunny. The sunshine lights up the sky and the ground. It helps the plants to grow and it keeps us warm. I love the sun. Now, my favorite part of the sunny days when it's just rained and then it becomes sunny is a rainbow. So how does the sun make a rainbow is our last question. The sunshine shines through the mist. Tiny water droplets in the air break the sunlight up into different colors, and that is the rainbow. So we are going to, that's the end of our story, and at the very end it asks us a question. It says, what's your weather like today? Look out your window and see. So in a second, we are going to take a look out of our windows and see what the weather is like today. But before we do that, we are going to sing a song about the weather. So I know that some of you might know this song. You may sing this song at school, and if you don't, that's okay. We're gonna learn it together. So the song that we're gonna sing today about the weather is called the Weather Watcher Song, and I sing this at school with my friends when we are talking about the weather. So this is how it goes. It goes like this: Weather watcher, weather watcher, what do you see? What do you see? Tell us what the weather's like. Tell us what the weather's like. Won't you please? Won't you please? So I want you to take a second and go look out your window and see what the weather is like at your house today. Let's take a look at what the weather is like at my house today. If we look at the weather at my house, it is kind of cloudy. Take a look up at the sky. There are lots of clouds up there outside. It is not sunny. It's a little bit windy. I see those trees moving. So at my house, I would say the weather is cloudy and windy. So now that we have talked about all about the weather, we are going to do our science experiment today. Now the science experiment is going to be also a part of the craft that we are making today. We are going to do the science experiment first, and then we will use our science experiment to go along with our craft. So for our science experiment today, we are going to be using a coffee filter and some markers and some water to see what happens whenever we draw on a coffee filter and then we spray it with some water, and we're going to see what magically happens to the coffee filter. So we're gonna take our coffee filter, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to use it and draw it, color it however you would like. Now the craft that we are doing today, because we've been talking about the words hot and cold and the temperature it is outside and the weather, is going to be about the weather. It is a cloud and a rainbow. So when I color my coffee filter, I'm going to make mine look like a rainbow, but you can make yours look any color that you want. So let's take a second and we're gonna color our coffee filter, and then we will make some predictions about what we think will happen during our science experiment, what's gonna happen to our coffee filter as we spray it with the water. So let's do our coffee filter first, and then we'll do our science experiment. So here we go. So on my coffee filter, I am going to make mine look like a rainbow. So I'm gonna start with the first color in the rainbow, which is red, and I am going to go along the edge of my coffee filter, and I am going to make it nice and red because red is the first color in the rainbow. When we are doing our science experiment, we are going to make this look like the rainbow part of our craft. So we are going to make this start with red. Now, do you know what the next color in the rainbow is? The next color in the rainbow is orange. So I'm going to use my orange, and I am going to color it orange. When we do our science experiment, we are going to get to see what happens to all of these colors when we spray them with water. So I want you to start thinking in your brain, making a prediction about what might happen when this coffee filter gets all wet. The next color in the rainbow is yellow. So I'm gonna take my yellow and put it around. Now, if you're gonna do this science experiment at home, you might wanna put something underneath your coffee filter because it likes to bleed through onto your table, and I don't think that your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa are gonna be very happy if you get marker on your table. Then we are going to do our green around the edge here. Our green. And the last color we're gonna do is blue. Now you can do this, like I said, however you want. If you wanna make it look like a rainbow like mine, go for it. If you don't want it to look like a rainbow, that's okay. So now that we have our coffee filter with our rainbow, we are going to use this for our science experiment. Now the science experiment, we are going to take this coffee filter and we are going to spray it with some water, and I want you to make a prediction on what you think is going to happen. I'm going to get my water and my tray to put this on because it's going to make a little bit of a mess, and then we will see what happens to our coffee filter. Okay, so I have my tray and my coffee filter and my squirt bottle ready to go. Now, we're gonna do our science experiment here. So did you make a prediction on what might happen when we use our spray bottle and we spray this? What's going to happen to all of the colors on our coffee filter? Will it stay the same? Will it change? Will the colors change color? Will it turn brown? What is going to happen to our coffee filter? Now the water inside my spray bottle is cold. We've been talking about the words hot and cold. No, for this science experiment, you want your water to be cold. If it's hot, your science experiment will not go the same. Okay, we're gonna use our water, our spray bottle, and it is time for us to spray it. Okay, so now when we spray it, if you do this experiment at home, you do not need a lot of water. So I'm gonna spray right in the middle of my coffee filter so we can see what happens. I'm gonna give it a couple mists just here and there so that we can see what starts to happen. Take a look at the colors and what is happening. Let's give it a couple more squirts. Can you see as I squirt it, what is happening to those colors? They are starting to blend together and they are starting to spread out onto our coffee filter. The colors are changing and blending together. Now, we're gonna use this coffee filter for our craft. So now that our science experiment is done, if you would like to do your own science experiment at home, you can get the directions and all of the things that you need off of WQLN.org. So don't be mad if you were not able to do our science experiment. So let's go use this coffee filter for our craft. Here we go. So it is finally craft time. Now, the science experiment that we just did, we are going to use that science experiment as a part of our craft today. We are going to be making our very own science experiment cloud using the science experiment that we had today. So here is the coffee filter that I made during our science experiment. Now for our craft today, if you were going to use your own coffee filter from our science experiment, the important part is to make sure that you let it dry. So it has to be completely dry so that you can use it. Now, if you do your science experiment and you are so excited and you want to be able to do our craft today, all you need to do is have an adult help you and get a hair dryer and use the hair dryer to blow dry the coffee filter until it is nice and dry, and then you can use your coffee filter to do our craft today. So the other items that you are going to need for our craft besides our coffee filter are a pair of scissors, a piece of paper. It can be white or blue or whatever color you have, but it's going to be for our cloud. So keep that in your brain. If you want to have a stormy cloud when it's cold and stormy and rainy, then maybe you want to use a black or a gray piece of paper. I'm going to use blue because I love the sunshine, but you can make it whatever color you want. You're going to need some markers or crayons or colored pencils, whatever you have. And the last item you're going to need is some glue or some tape. So let's begin our craft today. So we're going to take our coffee filter that we used and you are going to fold it in half. So it is perfectly folded and you have half a circle just like this, okay? So this is going to be the rainbow part of our stormy weather cloud for today. So take your half circle and go ahead and set it aside. Don't lose it because you're going to need it. And then you are going to take your paper and a pencil or a marker or a crayon, whatever you have, and you are going to draw the shape of a cloud. It can be a big cloud or it can be a little cloud. Here's my cloud. My cloud is probably a pretty big cloud if you look at my paper. So I have my shape of my cloud, and I'm going to use my scissors to cut out my cloud. When we use our cloud for our cloudy weather craft, you want to make sure that you are taking your time, because we are going to use this as a part of our weather rainbow. So when you are cutting this out, now remember, clouds are pretty bumpy. So if you need an adult to help you to cut out your cloud, find an adult or a friend that can help you to cut out your cloud. So I'm going to finish cutting out my cloud here, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do with your cloud. Okay, so here is my cloud. It could be any shape, any size, it doesn't matter. Take your scraps, crumple them up, and throw them in the trash can when you're all done. Now that I have my cloud, it's time for me to decide what type of weather do I want to have. Do I want to have hot and sunny and rainbow weather? Do I want to have grouchy, cloudy, sad, cold weather? You decide, but you are going to use your markers and draw a face onto your cloud. So maybe you want to have a smiley, sunny cloud. So I'm going to draw my cloud. I'm going to put some eyes and a nose and a smile on my cloud, because my cloud is sunny. That's how sunny weather makes me feel. It makes me feel happy. So we are going to take our cloud and our coffee filter, and now we are going to glue them together so that we can have our weather cloud. When you're all done, your cloud is going to look something like this. This is mine all done. I have my smiley and my rainbow, but if you decided you wanted to have a rainy cloud, maybe you have a not smiley face, maybe you have a frown. You decide what type of face you are going to have on your weather cloud. I hope that you had a ton of fun getting to make that craft and doing that quick little science experiment today. I loved getting to talk about opposites, and the two words that we talked all about today that are opposite are hot and cold, and the type of weather we have during those temperatures outside. I know that next week we are going to learn all types of new fun things, and there are still more fun things to come this week, so I hope you will continue to listen and learn and watch this week to see what other things we have in store. But today we are all done. We are out of time, so until the next time I see you, I hope that you remember to keep reading, keep learning, and keep watching WQLN Homeroom, where learning is brought to life. I'll see you next time. Bye!